And, obviously I'm going to echo a lot of the comments that have been made already today. Appreciate Rep. Skolton and her leadership on this issue in particular. This is a lack of political will, right? This is a problem we can solve. This is a problem where we can really make a difference in children's lives, but we've got to have the political will to do it. We've got to have the enforcement mechanisms and the funding for those enforcement mechanisms. We've got to make sure that our laws are protected. We've got to make sure we're talking about this in a real way. The statistics are damning, right? We see the 31% increase. We see these things, but those are just numbers. I think we need to talk about the real impact of what this does. It was just 2 years ago in my hometown in Louisville, Kentucky, that two 10-year-olds were found at 2 a.m. working in McDonald's. They were working the cash registers. They were distributing food. They were keeping the place open. One of them was allowed to use the fryer at 10 years old. I have twins going into the eighth grade right now and a first grader at my house. Um, the first grader is actually pretty self-sufficient, but one of the twins, I'm not sure I want cooking eggs right now, much less operating a fryer at a McDonald's at 2 a.m. in the morning. This is the type of thing, it is so incredible, but it's happening all the time. And I just heard on the Zoom talking about like child labor law is not something from 100 years ago. It's happening today. Even the term child labor, it seems like from a bygone era. And I think we have to wake people up to the fact this is happening and that we have policymakers who are actually looking at rolling back some of the existing protections instead of strengthening them. Look at what happened in Florida. Florida lawmakers, they're advancing legislation to allow children as young as 14 to work overnight shifts. And I say this with two kids who are going to be 14 here soon. That is not what eighth and ninth grade students should be doing. They should not be working overnight shifts. They should be preparing for a life where maybe they have to work overnight shifts, but they've got to be getting ready for that, developing appropriately, and this is dangerous for kids. Look in Indiana, just the state to my north. They are looking at rolling back protections on really dangerous agricultural jobs for 16 and 17-year-olds. I get this. I'm from Kentucky. I'm from an agricultural state, but there are jobs that are too dangerous for kids to be working. We know in every other aspect of their lives that they're not developmentally ready to do things. They shouldn't be developmentally ready to do these types of dangerous jobs. We've got to make sure we have legislation like the Power Act. We've got to make sure that advocates and parents and schools and teachers are coming together and talking about this. Communities are talking about this. Elected leaders are talking about this. We've got to make sure that businesses know they cannot profit from doing this. Our laws have to have a stiff enough penalty in them that a business owner is not just afraid to get caught, they're afraid to ever do it in the first place. And so I appreciate the work you all are doing on this. It really is something that is not a past problem. It's a current problem, and it's a problem we can solve if we have people doing it. So appreciate what you guys are doing.